I am your poetic haiku host, Kim B. Miller, the first African American poet laureate for Prince William County, Manassas, and Manassas Park, Virginia, award winning spoken word poet, facilitator, speaker, teaching artist, author. Let's get into today's subject. Hey, everybody. Hope everybody had a good week, good month, good afternoon, good whatever time frame you're in. And let's get into today's subject. So, Maya has this beautiful saying that when people show you who they are, believe them. And I'm telling you, don't believe them. Don't believe them. Just do whatever you think is necessary to change them, to alter them, show them your love, show them that your love is magical and that it can change everything about them if they just let you in. Just show them the goodness of you. Well, that's what you're doing anyway. So, your love is not a magic wand that can cure people of stuff that they've had for their entire life, or the environment that they grew up in, or the things that they believe. In order for you to change someone, they must first be willing to change and see the necessity to change. You having the idea or the thought pattern behind being genuinely concerned for someone is not enough to get them to change. And I need for people to embrace that, because you got a lot of good-hearted people making bad choices based on the kind-hearted people that they are. So I need you to embrace this truth. Your intention is not enough to change their entire being if they're unwilling to change. Your love, your hope, your vision for what they can become, for what they can accomplish is not going to be enough to get them to change, to seek change, to begin changing if they don't realize that about themselves and are willing to do the work to change. That does not mean that you don't hope that for them, you do not wish that for them, and you're not there for them when they need you to be. But for you to think that, well, I have the greatest of intention for this person, and therefore that will get them to change, is a mistake for you. Which is why so many people get jaded and get thick-skinned and get mad at the person that they're trying to change, because it's like, I did this, and they go through a list of things that they tried to do. But did the person come to you and say, hey, I need to change, and I realized the following things about myself, and I was wondering if you could suggest things or help me change. Help me to get to where I need to be. Help me get this goal. Was that the conversation you had? Or did you notice something and just go into solution mode? And there's nothing wrong with being solution oriented, because a lot of people are. But if the person who you are devising the solution for does not want your solution, then there's no need in you in trying to come up with a solution. Oh, you need help getting a job? You know what? Let me help you with your resume. Let me help you with interview questions. Honestly, proper responses. But is the person trying to do that? Is this like the 15th time you set it up and the person hasn't shown up and you're wondering why? And you're like, well, they said they need the job. They said they need all these things. Why aren't they showing up? Exactly. Why aren't they showing up? And if you're willing to do the resume and submit it for them and they won't go for the interview, why are you doing the pre-work when the work that's necessary to actually get the job is not going to happen? Why are you trying to help them in that area of artistry? Because everything's not about job. It could be artistry as a poet. It could be that you want to get them out there so that people can recognize them and start hiring them, or just hear their words because you think that the words are powerful or touching or inspiring. And each time you suggest, well, I can't. And you've been suggesting for, 2 years now. Again, initially, they could actually not be able to make it. People are busy, people have things planned, and depending on how last minute it is, They may honestly not have time for it. That's fine. But if it's been 2 years and you've been coming up with things and trying to work things out and pre-plan and all that, and each time the person's like, oh, I can't make it, there's a realization for you to make. Some people are talkers about dreams, and some people are fulfillers of dreams. I'm going to say that again. Some people are talkers about their dreams, and some people are fulfillers about their dreams. That does not mean you don't help them when they decide that they're ready. But we decide we're ready as soon as we hear the problem, or as soon as we see the problem, or as soon as we see a problem coming up. There we are trying to figure out, another route, another plan for that person, where the person isn't trying to figure out a plan for themselves. You can be helpful to those who are willing to accept the help. I'm going to say it again. You can be helpful to those who are willing to accept the help. And even though you may see a cliff coming, you can warn that person. I'm not saying, again, this is not about being mean. This is not about cutting people off, even though there's eventually going to be a time for some people, depending on the situation, you may need to cut off. But this is for realization. This is for you to inhale truth, exhale lies. This is for you to see the person as they are. Doesn't make them a monster, doesn't make them the worst person in the world, doesn't make them someone who took advantage of you, unless they did. But we have to start seeing people for who they are and accepting them when they say, I don't want any help right now. Or if they didn't ask for any, if you go and you say, hey, I see you have some things coming up, I'm here for you if you need me. You giving them an avenue for grace, as I call it, an avenue for grace. You open yourself up to the possibility of, hey, I'll be here, may not know everything about you, the field you're trying to go in, the artistry you're trying to pursue, whatever that is, but I'm here to help you. Now it's on the person to decide if they need help. Now, if you're that person who needs help and won't ask for help, people can't be mind readers. And then you go, well, so-and-so asked to help me, but I don't like how they asked to help me. Really? That's why people avoid people now, because when they try to do the right thing, people are so selective in how people address them that people don't address people at all because they don't want to offend people. And so people who need help, who people see that they actually need help, don't get help because people are more concerned about offending them than helping them. And that's because some of us have become so over the top with, the criteria we have on people asking us and the way that they ask us and the demeanor that they ask us and the words they use to ask us. A lot of people don't have the great words to ask you. A lot of people don't know how to present it to you. A lot of people don't know that, but they can help you 1000%. So I'm not saying take any help any kind of way. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is sometimes give that person the grace who cared enough to ask. What about that? What about saying, wow, that was a wild way to ask me, but dag, they willing to help me. Let me talk to them. Or how about saying, I love the fact that you're willing to help me and I will accept your help 1000%. And then you go that way and just say, and then when you have the conversation, you can say, I just wanted to let you know that I'm really grateful for your help, but the way you phrased a couple of things made me a little hesitant. There's ways to say things. There's ways but to eliminate all your help because it didn't come in the bow in the package that you were expecting it, or the bow in the package that you wanted. Let's be really careful about that. Let's be really careful about having people walk in such a constricted way that we have overlooked people who are willing to help us because we didn't like how they presented it. I'm not saying take cruelty. I'm not saying take belittlement. Please hear me carefully. But what I'm saying is the eloquence and the style to which you may be willing to accept help and mentorship and all that stuff may come in a rough package that doesn't talk as sweetly as you like. May come in a unique package of soft, maybe someone who's not as bold, who's very quiet speaking. May not come in the presentation you're looking for, but is it the help you need? So discernment is used here, discernment. And make sure you're being fair to all parties concerned. Because if you're asking for help and you're not ready for the help, then just tell a person, look, I know I asked you and you started helping me and I appreciate everything you've done, but I just need a break right now. Nothing you've done, I just need a break. And go on about your life. But don't have the person thinking that they did something wrong if you're not ready or you just not gonna do it. People's time is precious. When someone decides to spend time on or with you or for you, respect that time. They don't get that time back. And people have gotten to the point now, it's just like, well, that's what you should have done. Yeah, maybe it was what they should have done, but it wasn't what they had to do. They could have been like the 20 people who ignored you. Or the people who said they'd help you who never followed up. So now you got someone who's actually willing to help you, who's willing to follow up, who's willing to take time out of their day, week, month, schedule, whatever. And your tone is, well, they didn't such and such though. Again, let me reiterate, because some of you only hear what you want to hear. I'm not saying take any kind of help, no matter how it's thrown at you, no matter what tone is used, if they're demeaning you and whatever, just take the help because they're the one who's willing to help you. I will never say that. That is not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is if your criteria is like a mile long and they don't meet every part of your criteria, but they're great help, accept help. Because you may never find somebody with the criteria you're looking for. Or you may find them and they're not willing to help you. And the person who's coming to help you is not coming to be your everything. The work that's needed is needed on both sides, not just one person's job. It's not just the person's job who's coming to help you to do all the work, because real change comes when a person who needs the help is willing to change, is doing the steps to change, and has done self-examination so they know what to change. But if it's all about, well, the person never mentioned that's a problem for me, you should be looking at yourself to figure out what the problems are for you. Self-reflection, self-examination, so you know what to change. I'm trying not to. Only because I've dealt with this myself, because people have reached out to me several times. Do you mentor? Absolutely. Signed up for a couple of thingies and then disappeared. I don't chase people who ask me to mentor them. If you want me to mentor you, I'm happy to work with you. Obviously, we don't work with each other forever, but for a decent amount of time. But I don't chase people down who said they wanted help. I'm not the one for that. If you want the help, that's great. I'm here to help you. I'll schedule some meetings and stuff. If you don't show up for it, then that means you didn't want the help. And if something else happened, of course, you can call me or email me, whatever, and say, hey, you know what? Such and such came up. Things happen. We're human. But if you don't follow up after that, I'm not following up behind you. And some people think it's everybody else's job but theirs to follow up on their things. If it's your things, you follow up on it. You put it on your calendar. You set up reminders. That's your responsibility. Everything about you can't be someone else's responsibility. It just can't. Because you're a whole individual trying to get all your dreams and goals accomplished. And the first way to start to get those accomplished is to start realizing your role in them. If your role in your own dreams and goals is always on someone else's plate, I'm asking you, what ownership do you have in your dreams and your goals? Because it's not going to be always someone else's responsibility to fulfill the things that you want to get done. It's just not. And for those of you who did, well, I went to school for this and, I got this degree and all that's fantastic. I have a couple degrees too. But in the long run, when the work is done, as they say, when you got to do it for yourself, you have to do it for yourself. You have to have that knowledge and apply it to the next job, to the next poem that you're going to write, to the next song you're going to sing. You have to show up as you and adapt to the new environment that you're in. It was great that you adapted great in that old environment. What are you going to do about the new one? What are you going to do about the one you're creating? What are you going to do to show that you are the person that's right, not just for them, but for you? This is not all about, well, I want to be right for the job. What about you being right for you so that you can look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm proud of who I'm becoming. I'm proud of who I am. I'm not who I was. I know my faults and my good things because you're a whole person. So don't just tell me your faults. Tell me your good points too. You are not just the sum of your mistakes. You're a whole person. And this podcast is only 17 minutes because I am a haikuist and I love everything 17 syllables. So I will try to end with this haiku and hopefully I can remember it correctly. Haiku. They are a horror story. Rewinding. Haiku. They are a horror show dressed as a love story. Okay, obviously I did not remember it. Let's see. Hold on. Haiku. They are a horror show dressed as a love story. You didn't read their script. Have a great one. Be better for you.